So this idea that we've separated the existential or the elements of life that would prompt these existential questions, we've separated them from our daily lives. So people are in institutions for various things. So what Giddens says that does to us is it kind of means we live in a moral vacuum. And we have a sense of personal meaninglessness because we're not. But if you think back to, where babies were born at home and people lived at home, whatever their situation or their mental health, whatever was, and people died in the home, that was a very different, perhaps normalization of those things. And now we have this kind of vacuum where we don't have that kind of sense of meaning in our lives because it's separate. So what Giddens says is actually that gave us a kind of ontological security. It kind of gave us a security of our position in the world, which now we lack. So we lacking this ontological security starts to lead us to an anxiety and a need for direction in our lives. And where would we go in order to get direction? Well, of course, we're going to look for something spiritual, maybe religion. So this is what Giddens says provides a vital function. It provides a sense of moral purpose. So religion provides a vital function, a sense of moral purpose, and it also offers us answers to the big existential questions about life and death and mental health and all of those things. So the late modernist argument here is that the modern world, actually the way we do it, the way we live our lives, the way we institutionalize some things, actually provides us with a need for religion. So this is really weird because we've gone from not having a need for religion because of the modern world, and then the late modern world gives us a need for religion, but in a really different way. And that brings us on to what Ulrich Beck has to say, because he says quite a lot about how it's so different in our society. So Beck has always talked about risk society and individualization, and you probably have come across those in year 12, probably in your family topic if you studied family. So Beck agrees that secularization has happened. So he's on the same lines as Giddens. Secularization has happened in Europe. And he agrees with Giddens as well, because he tells us that secularization has created this kind of paradoxical paving of the way for a revitalization of religion. So it's kind of created this, we didn't need it because of society, but now we do need it because of society. So the revitalization of religion, Beck is kind of saying, well, it's inevitable given the kind of society that we're in. And the difference that Beck really points out is the fact that religion has now been separated from the state. It's separated from traditional religious organizations. We kind of had this uncoupling of taking away religion from these traditional religious organizations. So now there are options to have religion and to have spirituality without being involved in one of these major formal traditional, Islam, Christianity, Judaism, Hinduism, those kind of big pillars of religion. And what that's done is it's made religion more fluid, more flexible, and more able to fit in with this kind of marketplace society that we have in modernity. So you can see there that starts to fit with the idea of religious consumerism, the idea of spiritual shopping. So we can see this tying in with postmodernity, but these late modernists do have a slightly different focus. So people are now free to choose, and this is what Ulrich Beck's book that he wrote in 2010, it was called, is a God of One's Own. So rather than having this final authority of this one God, it's everyone finding their own God and their own direction. And Beck also brings something else in that's quite useful, and you can build into your essays on secularization or on the postmodern view of religion, is that fundamentalism starts to thrive within this landscape. So it actually means there's a higher element of risk in society, and Beck really, talks a lot about managing risk and risk society. And what he's saying is that fundamentalism has kind of grown from this very cosmopolitan society. And obviously we'll look at fundamentalism in more detail under a kind of separate topic area, but it's really interesting that Beck brings in the link between this late modern society and fundamentalism. So that's Beck and Giddens.